Okay, thanks to our mates at Car, it's time to catch up with the NZHRA affiliated club where the superchargers almost outnumber people, the Wanganui Road Rodders.
Wanganui Road Rodders, a very diverse club. We have a fantastic club membership of over 60. It's been that way for quite a few years. It started in 1973.
Right from the start we were open to having a big variety of cars. Not everybody was into just pre-49s or Chevys or everything, so we sort of opened it up.
We've got guys that race drag cars, circuit cars, we've got the hot rod enthusiasts, the show cars, and then we've got the street rods.
Top pre-49 cars that have won top awards in New Zealand to drag guys, to the street machine guys.
Classic cars, hot rods, rat rods, and just your general New Zealand Holden Fords with blowers on them. There's quite a few cars with blowers on in this club, and that's what we're known for, I think, around the traps, is the amount of blowers in Wanganui.
Probably just something in the water, yeah. I think with running the Wanganui drags, bit of a speed thing, and still old school, it's cool, it's out the bonnet.
There is a fair bit of competition, but I think that's healthy competition, but everyone helps each other out. If they've got issues on the day, then everyone pitches in to say, this is the problem, fix that, do this, do that. And I think it seems to work.
Assembled at the Wanganui Road Rodders club rooms at the northwest end of town, that variety sure makes for quite the lineup. But the cars alone aren't the success story behind the Road Rodders' longevity.
Some of the guys will say the cars are the stars, but I think this club, it's all about the people. You know, it doesn't matter if you drive a $200 junker or a $200,000 show beast, you know, everyone's treated the same. As long as you get on with everybody else, you're more than welcome at the club.
The cars are important, but the people are just as important because it's a very social thing. We've got quite a social climate, a very social club. Some of our members haven't got cars on the road or they've just got an interest in cars.
That whole community of people with a like interest that help each other out. Now, I know a lot of people want to do individual memberships and all that sort of thing, but yeah, I think you miss out. You just miss out on a lot of community-based spirit, you know?
You only get out of a club what you put into it, so that's always been my motto, and I think it's one you stick with.
The Wanganui Road Rodders are a familiar sight at events around the country, but they also put on a few themselves. One of just 2 clubs still running street drags, they make good use of community support, allowing them to close off Taupo Key each year. The drag's now in their 31st year and attracting competitors from far and wide. There's a couple of new ones to add to the calendar too. The River City Park Up and an annual run dedicated to a friend who's passed on.
Ian Hooper Memorial Run, he was a vice president for the club for nearly 40 years, you know, he passed away early last year. Ian also supplied all the timber for the club rooms. When we built the club rooms back in the early 80s, Ian was off a farm in Waverley, so cut down some macrocarpers and sent them to the mill, and that was all the trusses, all the timber work in the club was all donated by Ian. They've been here for a while, and they're well used.
We're proud of the club, and we're proud of what we've got, and we're proud of the membership, and I think the genuine members that you know really appreciate it and want to be part of it are a part of it, and that's all you can ask for.
Right, thanks to Car, we're back to check out the cars of Wanganui Road Rodders, a club proudly obsessed with all things old and fast.
Mum said the first word I said was car, it wasn't mum or dad. To try and rub that off on other people is neat, it's a disease, and if they catch it, well, it's fantastic, you know.
Every car is different, so that's what makes it interesting for every member of the club, to show off what they like and tell everybody about it, basically.
And when you have this kind of lineup and a home base with plenty of parking, even a low-key get-together like this one starts looking an awful lot like a car show.
We're lucky with the weather and sun's out, of course, in Wonga Vegas, so it never rains much.
They're here, we're here, so let's check out some cars. With this club, you'd better bet we're going to start with something with some metal sticking out of the hood. So why not Club Pres Tristan's Monaro?
Okay, yeah, so this is my 1968 GTS Monaro. I've owned it for many years now, 12, 13 years. When I bought it had an injected Commodore motor in it, and just didn't like the looks of it or anything about it. I was real old school, so we chucked that out and went down to Pro Parts and found some money and ended up with this big blowing thing. Slowest car of the family, but it still cuts the 10.6 second at 130 miles an hour. 383 small block supercharged, tough trans, 9-inch fab diff, discs on the rear, and yeah, it's just a cool street car really.
On to Gillian and Doug's bonus next. By all appearances, one very slick Sunday cruiser. But no, when in Wanganui,
It's got a 402 big block with a 671 blower and two 750 double pumper Hollies on it. It's a 1949 Ford bonus. It was in a shed that had chooks living in it when we got it, so it was in a bit of a state when we towed it home. We gave it a full rebuild. We've taken 4.5 inches out of the roof. The totra that's in there was from the posts that held up the running rail at the Waverley Racecourse, and they were in the ground for 120 years holding that running rail up, and now they're in our truck. The leather came from Wanganui. We had Grant Rivers of River Speed and Spears. They did the engineering and the mechanical work, and Rod Sklinars of Rod's Repairs did the panel beating. Yeah, we're really pleased. It's come up really, really good.
It'd been raced in California before it came to New Zealand, raced down south. It was hugger orange with big ugly flared guards. So I drove it like that for 6 years while my kids were growing up, and then I thought it was time to do the real resto. So basically thought it would take about 12 months, or 5 years later, and a whole lot of money. It's turned out like it is. All stock running gear. I like to keep the car stock, and obviously a bit of extra gas in the boot. I put a drop tank in it to get me from A to B. But it's been to Beach Hop, it's been to Marine Land, it's been to the Snow Run. So I've tried to take it as many places as I can take it, but it's a joy to drive any day of the week.
Willie's Chev hauler needs little introduction. You've probably seen it at your local hot rod show, no matter where in the country you live. Safe to say he's well past running it in.
A 48 Chevy cab over, done 35,000 k on LPG, and I've decided to put it back on petrol, so I've just put a new set of Edelbrock alloy heads on it, and manifold, and quick fuel carb, and she's going a lot quicker now. It actually skids the back wheels now, so that's good. It's been up and down the country from way up Auckland right down to Christchurch and all places in between. Debuted at the Beach Hop in 2014, and now she's got stone chips, but hey, that's what it's all about. Drive it, eh,
Flying the flag for the pre-49 hot rods on the day, Greg and his Juice Roadster.
Got an LS1 engine in it. Got a Duval windscreen on it, which looks a little different than the normal 32 windscreens. A Juice Customs body. It does what I want it to do for me. And we've had a lot of miles out of it, a lot of fun events out of it. It gets along quite well, yeah, and believe it or not, it's quite cheap to run, as far as some of the cars go. On something that looks good and goes well and reliable. It is an addiction, really. It's one of those things that something bites you and you just go for it and do it.
Motorsport and motoring in general has a strong presence in Wanganui, and 4+ decades down, the Road Rodders will continue to be a driving force behind that, both on the track and the street.
Oh, it's fantastic, and yeah, it's like you say, I'm hugely, immensely proud of it, and it's just the passion you've got for it, and to make sure it works, and that's what makes us who we are, and why we're such a diverse club with so many different cars, and that's the best part of it. It's just the dedication they have to the club and what keeps us going and keeps us going so strong.